another speaker interview here at the RLA Future Renting Conference in London. It is, of course, property analyst and commentator Kate Faulkner. Hello, Kate. Lovely to see you as always. And we've had Cardiff, Manchester, and now the RLA have landed in London. And this conference, it just seems to be gaining momentum.
Well, absolutely. And you'd kind of never believe that landlords would be having a conference that actually mostly concentrates on how can we do stuff better for tenants and how can we make sure we look after them. But in actual fact, that's what it is. It'll never make the main headlines, but great you guys are telling everybody about it today who can't come. But of course, I mean, one of my slides was, we all know property location, location, location. Well, the mantra is for the private rented sector and particularly for landlords, change, change, change. And that is what it's going to be like for at least the next 5 years. It's been relentless now and maybe not so great. I'm hoping over the next 5 years, yes, it will be relentless, but much better and much better coordinated. And I think that's the key. And that's what we've seen today is you look at all the different people that were here. You and I know we've never had conferences like this before.
Indeed, and you mentioned there's lots of landlords out in force. If I can ask my lovely cameraman just to swing the camera around and just have a little look at everybody. We're having lunch at the moment, as you can see. That's what the buzz is in the background. But I think about 200 landlords here today, Kate. Very positive, as you say. This event comes at such a crucial time in the private rented sector. We had the RLA 20th anniversary private reception at the House of Commons, the release of their report, the release of the new University of York report. Just so much going on.
Well, yeah, but and I think there's been a lot going on, and I think the important thing now is this is coordinated stuff going on, and that's what's critical. So in the past, it's landlords going down one route, tenants another one. Not the RLA, to be fair to them. They have always worked right across the sector, and credit to them for that. And we've got government officials here and MPs and everybody from all the different walks of life. And I think that's the critical thing, is the data that we have now is well evidenced, not just let's pick a figure because it fits what we want to say and have a go at landlords and letting agents again. What it is, you know, for example, the Julie Rugg report from York University was actually affordability in the regions isn't bad. Where it is bad is London if you're on benefits. Well, actually, that's more of a government issue and it's something they can fix.
Indeed.
So that's I think the most important thing is this is good change.
Absolutely. I don't know if you agree, but I feel that some of the things that I've heard this week, particularly from the Housing Minister James Brokenshire at the House of Commons, I felt that the government rhetoric was changing a little bit and was more conciliatory and showing much more of an appetite to listen to landlords.
Yeah, that is definitely happening. It's not just landlords, but it's letting agents and it's everybody else in the sector. And I don't think, to be fair, again, RLA is definitely, I'm not just saying that, they are the exception because they've been doing this for a long time. Yeah. But I have to say the rest of the industry hasn't been great at talking to each other, let alone talking to the government. And what government are now seeing is actually everybody's asking for the same stuff. Whereas it might have had 3 different letting agent trade bodies go in with 3 different kind of views, some the same, and actually that wastes their time. That takes up a lot of time that could be spent on solving problems, not trying to understand them.
Absolutely. And this event, it just seems to go from kind of strength to strength to strength. And it was so gratifying to see Alan Ward, the chairman of the RLA, recognised as well at the 20th anniversary celebrations.
Oh, it was. I mean, I have to say, Alan was, when I came into this industry and I started looking at the sort of buy-to-let and landlord market, Alan was one of the first people that I turned to just say, just help me out here. And I like to ask lots of questions to get an understanding. And he's always been brilliant at telling me how things are and his approach, and they've been really, really good at networking with everybody in the sector. And it's great they've done that. It's a shame not everybody does that as much, but I think again that's getting better. But I know when I saw Alan at that event, he was like, yes, but it's my staff and everything else. And I actually stopped him and I said, but today's your day.
Yes.
And today's the day when everybody says thank you because you started this, and none of these staff would be here if it wasn't for you. and they're the way they are because you're the way you are. So huge credit needs to go out to Alan, and all landlords should be very, very grateful for the hard work he does, and especially that of the RLA.
I second that 100%. And I just think that this event is kind of setting new standards for this kind of event. Amazing locations, really credible speakers, cutting edge topics.
Well, I can agree with the amazing location, because far more years ago than I would like to remember, I did my MBA here, and I don't actually think I've really been back since then, and I've even, would you believe, met somebody I was on the course with.
Aww.
So that was kind of really nice. But
we're at Imperial College in London.
Yes, we are, thank you. So yeah, it is really good, and it's what they've done is made them accessible.
Yep.
So that's the bit that's important, I think. So you know, landlords are a smart bunch of people, but understandably they don't trust. And I think more than anything what these events are doing, apart from informing them, is it's starting to build a trust between the letting agent guys, the government, MPs and civil service who are they're doing all the hard work, as well as all the other people. And that's what the RLA are good at doing, is they get everybody in a room.
Absolutely. And as we close out here, Kate, I guess one thing that we would both agree on is that now that the landlord community seems to be getting some really good traction, we need more landlords to join landlord associations. We have to have a voice at a political level.
Well, I go a step further. I go, if you want to be a landlord, you either join a landlord association, which might be somebody like the RLA, or your local authority might have one, or you work with a letting agent who is Arla and Rick's, a member of Arla and Rick's or NOWS. And the reason I say that is there's 400 rules and regulations, there's over 150 laws, they're getting changed every 5 minutes. If you have a day job and you're letting property, you can't keep up. I have probably 5 people, organisations that I consult when I write about legal stuff, and I still get it wrong, and I still learn something new every day. And I do this full time, albeit work in other sectors. So as a landlord, if you've got a full-time job, unless you're on this full-time and you've got good legal representation, there's no way you can keep up.
I think actually you've just highlighted something else that's so important about this event. It is like a vitamin injection for landlords, isn't it? Gets them set up for the future.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what's great is they're so engaging. You know, they get such a bad press, but I've never met. It's interesting. So if you're working in the bad end of the market, all you'll meet is horrible landlords. All I've ever met is really lovely people that actually maybe wanted to help their kids. They maybe even, I've got landlords who actually bought properties for their mum and dad. You know, and that's a whole part of the sector that's completely forgotten. The majority of landlords are lovely, and a lot of landlords I've met, they actually look after their tenants as well as they do the blooming kids. So, you know, we've got to get that message out there, and people need to see good landlords more.
Yes.
And that, I'm not sure we've got that right yet, and we need to think about, maybe you and I need to think about how do we put landlords in front of the community more, so that people actually understand they're quite good people.
Fantastic. Well, on that note, I have to say thank you very much.
Pleasure.
On behalf of the RLA, as always, for joining and your contribution here today. Thanks very much to the lovely Kate Faulkner.
Thank you.